Rise and shine, beloved great grand rising. Come on in, come on in. We are here, we are here. Let me just see if we are coming through live on Facebook. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tag your friends, tag your family members. Let them know Spiritual Success TV is live. All right, with that being said, let me go ahead and make sure we are broadcasting live today. There we go. Let me throw a grand rising up here. And we're going to be ready to go. Grand Rising, beloved, Grand Rising. All right, with that being said, let's do what we do over here in the Spiritual Success Life community. We're going to activate the success mind. We're going to go ahead and get grounded. Sit with your feet flat, back straight. If you want, put a hand on heart, a hand on your core. Uncross those legs if you're sitting. Back straight, and come on, let's take a good healing deep breath in through your nostrils. Fill up those lungs. Out slowly and completely through the mouth. We're here. Relax, beloved. Skin over scalp. Pulling those eyes down. Drop those shoulders down from your ears. Relax the torso, the arms, the fingers, the core, the thighs, the legs, the feet. Now we're going to turn the focus inward to the rich inner life and breathe. And exhale. Relax deeper. Tapping into infinite wisdom, infinite possibility, the kingdom within. Tapping into the God self. Allowing Christ consciousness to rise and be activated. One more for the power of 3. Take a good healing deep breath in. Exhale. We're so thankful, so grateful to be here today. We are here, we are here, we are here, beloved. With that being said, we're going to look exactly at what we sent to you over the weekend. We have some amazing things coming up, and we want to remember all those servicemen and women that have served over this Memorial Day weekend, keeping this country safe. We want to honor, acknowledge, and reverence all veterans family. All right. So here we go, beloved. This is something that I've talked about many times, and we're still in this whole mindset of surrender, right? Forgiveness, surrender, and spiritual growth. But now we want to go a little deeper. So I'm going to read directly from the email that I sent you guys, right? And so we're talking about today when awakening starts to feel like rebellion to you, right? So I asked the question, have you ever felt guilty for questioning the religious teachings that you were raised in? Now, the reason why we are embarking upon this journey is because I have a deep sense that there are so many of you out there that are in an awakening process. And in this awakening process, you're running into a holy tension. You're running into sacred conflict because there is a separation that is happening as you're waking up, as you're growing, as you're maturing. And sometimes you feel this tension or this conflict between religion and revelation. So write that down in the notes. I know that many of you are standing right at the crossroads between religion and revelation. And so you start feeling guilty because you were raised in something all your life, you believed in it, but now all of a sudden you have questions, right? Maybe you've been sensing, looking at the email, something deeper. I want you to hear this, something truer, but you fear. The fear wells up and it whispers in your ear, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm being deceived? Come on now. What if God is angry at me for even asking these questions? These are the things that come up because when you are indoctrinated into a religious system, That indoctrination is in every fiber of your being. It's in your nervous system. It's in the subconscious mind and the subconscious programming. And then when you start waking up and revelation starts coming, sometimes that fear and that confusion sets in. Come on, give me a great grand rise and let me know that you're here. Let's just share some love today, all right? So you're sensing something deeper, maybe something even truer for yourself, but fear still whispers in your ear. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm being deceived? I remember back in the day, going back into the 90s, I remember that being my prayer. God, don't let me be deceived, right? So afraid that we're going to miss the mark or that God is going to be angry with us. So if any of this resonates, you're not alone, beloved. You're not alone. And no, you are not being rebellious. You're in an awakening. I want to make that clear. This is not about rebellion. And we don't want you to ever judge yourself as being wrong because you're beginning to wake up. So we want to talk about when awakening feels like rebellion, because it's time now to answer your call, the high calling beyond fear. It's time to allow what your soul is calling for, what you are in divine remembrance for. It's time to allow that to wake up, because now you're at the crossroad. Do I stay where I've been, what I've been raised in, what I've been taught, or do I embrace this revelation? I'm right at the crossroad between the religion I was raised in, but the revelation that is hitting my spirit, right? So for those called to higher, but scared to move forward, this is for you. You know you're being called to higher, but you're afraid to move forward. For those who are afraid of missing the mark, but longing for divine alignment, this is for you. It's time to go. If we was together, Grand Rising, Lisa, I would tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, it's time to go. This is a gentle but powerful invitation into a new way of walking, beloved, with the divine, with the creator. This is a new way of being, a new way of walking. It's rooted in love. It's not rooted in fear. Can you just take a deep breath in and receive what's waiting for you? Receive what your soul is longing for, all right? So what we want to talk about today, what I want to dive deeper into this, we want to look at this holy tension, right? What to do when you're standing at this crossroad. And for many of you, you're feeling the call, you're feeling the pull. And I want to tell you that this is not a cliche. I believe this with every fiber of my being, that everything in the unseen realm in this universal line of year is here to aid you and support you. I feel the anointing and the spirit for crossing over. Can you put that in your notes? There is a grace here today for crossing over. So when we look at this, I want to look at this tension, this holy tension that's calling for a sacred separation from what was working, that's no longer working, into the new. So this is about the struggle now, or the tension between religious loyalty and spiritual liberation. Can you put that in your notes? I feel such a grace and an anointing for crossing over. I feel the spirit of freedom and liberation and revolution all at the door. It's all at the door for each and every one of us. So let's look at this. So many of you on the awakening path, as I said, you may feel guilty for questioning the teachings that you were raised in, that you were once devoted to. I'm going somewhere, because rather it's religion, rather it's your own set of beliefs. This is why we do belief audits all the time. I know without a doubt that you all have been on this path of awakening, but you fear sometimes that you're getting too far away from what you've always practiced. And so this is why we're here, and we want to look at the major things, and we keep hitting this. I feel like I have like a hammer, and I keep knocking on this rock, this boulder of where we've been stuck. So you feel guilty for questioning the teachings that you were once devoted to. This inattention again is not rebellion. I have to keep driving that home, because in my talking to my clients and my students who are evolving and awakening, we run into this all the time. This is not rebellion, beloved, but it is a sacred signal that your soul is being called to a higher dimension of living. And I want you to sit with that just for a moment. Let's just breathe that in. And let's acknowledge that all your good, everything that you desire, I want to take a moment right here, beloved. And I want you to bring your desire to the forefront, because your spirit is knocking on the door, and your soul and your mind, your will, your emotion, your intellect, you see the appetite and desire is also in agreement with spirit. And now it's time to take an action. It's time to make a decision. I believe with every fiber of my being that we have help, we have support, and I want to usher you into the dimension of trust now, where we're able to trust. So I want to speak into loyalty to tradition versus loyalty to truth. I want you to be able to accept, embrace, adapt, and nurture your truth. I want you to be leery of people that want to beat you down for embracing something that you feel is true for you. You've got to allow yourself that freedom, beloved, to know when something is true for you. And so there are little buzzwords, in religious community. There's no such thing as your truth. There's only the truth. Beloved, the truth is your truth. And your truth is the truth. You got to get to a place where you can trust your inner guidance. I know we've been raised all of our lives to look out, to check, to ask, to get approval, to get confirmation. But at some point, you're going to have to trust your heart. You're going to have to trust your spirit. Trust the Holy Spirit's presence within your highest self, your God consciousness, Christ consciousness, whatever language works. At some point, you've got to trust you're on the right track. You're on the right path. It is right for you. I want you all to talk back to me, because I can remember going through these kind of changes myself. How many of you can remember being in church and something was said, something was asked, right? And it didn't sit well with your spirit. Your spirit didn't agree with it. But all the noise around you said, don't be disobedient. You're in rebellion. Do you know how many times we have interfered with our good? That we have interfered with the grace that was given to move us forward because of outside noise, rules, regulation, traditions, doctrinal interpretations of sacred texts came up to tell you you are wrong. You're disobedient. You're not in agreement. You're in rebellion. But deep in your heart, you knew this is not for me. I can't tell you how many times I did that to myself. And that is what depression is when you are stuffing and pushing down truth that wants to guide you into better days. Beloved, I know that I know that I know. And I just feel to land here today because I feel the spirit of liberation, freedom, revolution, evolution. This is your time. Come on, talk back to me. This is my time. Come on, make the declaration. So we don't want to be loyal to tradition. We don't want to be loyal to things that we were once dedicated to, that we honored and observed at one season in our life. We want to be loyal to the truth. The truth is always going to set you free. It's going to bring liberation. It's going to bring joy. It's going to bring peace. And people would often ask, Dr. E, how do I know when it's the spirit or if it's God versus my flesh? Your flesh will always have you to shrink, hide, withdraw, resist. But the spirit is all about liberation and peace and expansion. So when you get that when that thought comes up in your spirit and hits your conscious mind and your body feels calm, it feels peace, it feels love. Beloved, that's the truth for you. So I'm doing this because many of you are still in an environment that is pushing a narrative that you can no longer identify with. It no longer brings peace to your life. The environment doesn't bring peace to your life, right? I want to speak to the fear of dishonoring your family, your culture, or your church. Now, this is a big one. Come on, let's breathe right here. Because I know this is real. Some of you are in families where the whole family is in a certain religion, a certain church, a certain organization, and here you are in an awakening experience, and none of that feels aligned for you anymore. So many people, and this is what, when I came here, how many years has it been now? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. This is the 9th year that I've come out of traditional pastoral ministry into sitting here, because I knew we were coming into this day and time where so many people would no longer resonate with where we've been in our religious culture and upbringing. Beloved, the truth shall make you free. It will set you free. It will bring you peace. It will bring you liberation. And I want you to not fear dishonoring your family, culture, or your church. You have to know what's right for you. All right? So listen, I want to speak to this, because how many of you have practiced deferring what you knew was true to appease someone, to line up so that you wouldn't stick out, so that you wouldn't go against the grain? That day is over, right? I want you to understand this, beloved, and recognize that spiritual growth often begins with this holy tension, a sacred conflict that's asking you to separate. So I want you to affirm today and write this in your notes. Watch this. It is safe to outgrow what once nurtured me. Can you put that in the comments, please? Put that in your notes. This is the affirmation that we're going to turn into a prayer-affirmation this week. It is safe. It is safe to outgrow what once nurtured you. You used to be happy there. You was content there. You found peace there. But now it's agitation. It's restlessness. It's frustration. That is all a signal that you are growing and you've gone as far as you can go. And I want to say one more thing about this as we look into our reflection question for this week. Don't always try to find someone to go with you. You better write that big in your notes, because I know many of you get stuck there looking for someone to go with you. At some points in your growth, it is meant for you to do it alone. We're not talking about being hidden and recalling. We're talking about going into isolation for the purpose of incubation, right? So that you can get the nourishment that you need to grow. So here's the reflection question for this week. I did this for myself as well. Where in my life am I still holding out of loyalty? I'm still holding on out of loyalty, not alignment. That is big. I have done that for years, beloved, because I am a loyal person, loyal to a fault almost. This is the question. Where in my life am I still holding on out of loyalty, not alignment? I'm calling us into divine alignment and agreement as we are preparing to close out this month and go into the next month. We want to get into alignment and agreement with what we know is working for us and what will work. And I'm calling us into this divine alignment and agreement. Let's take a good healing deep breath in and exhale. On this day, 5/25/25, I'm asking everybody, let's sow a $25 seed, which gets us to the number of 7, the number of divine perfection. These are all the ways that you can sow a $25 seed, any one of those ways. And I said seed because we want this to grow. We're getting ready to embark on coming into a whole dimension of walking the awakened path. And I want you to sow seed in this so that you can get the result of what you're sowing into. If that's not enough, then do 25 3 times, do 25 4 times. Hear the voice of your spirit, sow the seed so that we can get the result of what it is that we're asking for. You know, beloved, I cannot tell you how many times I had to close down fake accounts. Once you put up something like that and those trolls on the internet believe that this is an avenue for them to collect some funds, they start creating fake accounts. But these are the ways that you can sow, and you can sow safely, and it's safe for you to do. So affirmation is safe for me to outgrow what once nurtured me. And your journal prompt for this week to think of, where am I still holding on out of loyalty, not alignment? We want to be in divine alignment. We want that grace to move forward. All right. Take a good healing deep breath in and exhale. All right. No SSL tomorrow as we are observing Memorial Day. We will see you on Monday, June 9th. That is my birthday week. So we're going to show up in a full celebration that week. All right. Because I'll be working that Monday, but then I'll be off the rest of the week to observe my birthday. All right, lovely. Share this on your timeline. Have a blessed, wonderful, and amazing rest of your day. Bye for now.